What is going on, basketball lovers and hoop heads? Welcome back to Checkup, where I am your host, Bryce, here as always to take you through your favorite basketball content. Today I need to talk about something that bothers me, and that something that bothers me is the Orlando Magic, and more particularly Paolo Banchero. You see, prior to this season beginning, I had a lot of hopes for this Orlando Magic team. You know, they're super young, they're super frisky. They made the trade for Desmond Bane in the offseason. It felt like they were all in. They were finally going to get their guys back healthy, and the East was wide open. And it seemed like this is a really great chance for the Magic to cement themselves as like one of the contenders in the East, and they've just not been that. The Magic currently sit at 21-18, and they are the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. They had a rocky start to the year. Paolo went down with an injury. They kind of stabilized a little bit. Paolo comes back, then Franz goes down with an injury, and ever since then, they've been just a little all over the place. Everything's been very up and down. And part of me can't help but feel like the reason they've been so up and down, a lot of that pressure has to be lying on Paolo Banchero's shoulders. Paolo is the number one pick, was the number one pick from the 2022 draft. He got a crazy extension in this past offseason, max contract extension, and he's just not been very good this year, in all honesty. That's very unfortunate. I had a lot of hopes for Paolo. I think in his first couple of years, there's been some things about his game that I didn't love. But I thought coming in, getting Desmond Bane, like a pure bona fide third scorer, shooter, floor spacer, Jalen Suggs was going to be healthy to start the season, that Paolo would really start to put things together here in year 4. And it's been worse if it's been anything. And to me, it's been largely about shot diet so far. It's just shot diet, it's decision making, and it's kind of just painful to watch. Paolo is 6'10". I mean, he's huge. He's massive. And unfortunately, I just don't feel like he uses his mobility or his body all that well, all that often, in order to generate easy looks for himself or generate easy offense. And it's really unfortunate because he definitely has the capabilities to do so. There are nights where he does so, but it never comes together super consistently. Paolo wants to play a lot more like prime Carmelo Anthony than anything, where he wants to take a lot of post-up mid-range shot attempts, step backs, fadeaways, anything besides really getting to the rim at a efficient in like high volume level. And the biggest problem with Paolo's shot diet is that he's just not a good shooter whatsoever. He is not a good mid-range shooter. He is a horrible three-point shooter. This year he's shooting like 25% from 3. He is not a good pull-up jump shooter. I think he's shooting around 30% on pull-ups. It's ineffective, and he's not a bad rim finisher either. Like, he's really quite good because he's almost 7 feet tall and he can kind of go through anybody when he wants to, but he settles so often for difficult shot attempts, and he's just not a difficult shot maker, and it's almost always to the detriment of his team. And I don't want this to just be like a Paolo hate video, but there are some frustrations that I have with him. Currently this season, his team has a better net rating when he's not on the floor, and that shouldn't be the case when you're the guy that's pretty much been dignified as the leader of the team. You're the one making the most money. You were the number one pick. Like, how is your team worse with you on the court? That shouldn't be possible. And I do think that net rating stat requires a little bit of context. Lineup stats can be really wonky. It all depends on sample size. Things can change and fluctuate super easily. There's a lot to be said. Like, there's a lot more that happens on a basketball court than just one guy being on, one guy being off. You know what I mean? Lineup stats are weird. And to give credit to Paolo, when Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, and Paolo share the court this season. The Magic have like a plus 16 net rating or something like that. So when their four best players are on the floor, the Magic are good. But, teams deal with injuries. Guys are in and out of lineups. It happens to every single team. I don't think it's an excuse for you to just be like, oh, we need our four guys to be on the court. We need them to be healthy in order to be good. It's like, no, that's not what good teams do. Good teams figure it out. Yes, it can be frustrating to not have all of your guys on the court at the same time. I totally get it. But it's like the same thing we've been dealing with the Cavs this year, where it's just like, okay, I understand all your guys aren't healthy, but like at some point we got to suck it up. And if we truly are like top 10, top 15 players in the NBA, we're going to make it work. And for the most part, Paolo doesn't make it work unless he's surrounded by the other more talented players on his team. I think the other irksome character to me about Paolo's game is that I feel like in his first season and at Duke, he's like a really special passer. Maybe not special, but he's a very capable and was a willing passer, I feel like, earlier in his career. And as the years have gone on, he's just become less so. So when Paolo's on the floor, it feels like there's just a lot of ISO possessions, and the Magic only ever run one action. And then it's like, if that action doesn't work, well, Paolo's just going to jack up some contested mid-ranger or, whatever. There's no flexibility in his game. There's no creating disadvantages. Again, he's 6'10" with the handle and flexibility and like the capability to be mobile all over the court. You should be a mismatch nightmare, and yet he just isn't one for his teammates. So at the end of the day, there needs to be some, I don't know if you'd call it come to Jesus moments with the Magic, but there needs to be some sort of change. I think the initial change is going to be coaching one. I don't think Jamal Mosley is going to be here forever. His offensive system seems pretty uninventive, and I just don't know if the guys are bought into that offensive system, and I don't know if we just need a new coach, a new voice in the locker room to maybe help switch things up. Maybe that's all that needs to change. Who knows? But I do think there needs to be a change within Paolo's game because, again, his team is better without him on the floor. He's not efficient right now. He has a terrible effective field goal percentage at 48.3. He shoots 25% from the three-point line, sub 50% from the field overall. As a guy who is almost 7 feet tall is kind of an abomination, if you ask me, and it's just not the recipe for winning basketball. And Paolo is capable, 100% capable of being the leader on a team, I believe. There's a lot of things that have to change. There's some things that need to change, and the Magic need to get those changes. They need to get it into Paolo's mind that some things need to change. But they need to change quick because this team is very expensive. They don't have a ton of ways to upgrade their roster, unfortunately, unless some of their younger guys really start to come along and start to contribute for them. But they kind of made the play with the Desmond Bane trade. They traded a lot of first round picks. They got another huge contract on the books. There's not much else left for them to do. And there's been an emergence this season, actually, from one of their young guys who's looking to get paid in this offseason, and that's Anthony Black. And I think Anthony Black really kind of complicates things for the Magic, and let's talk about why. If you're somehow unfamiliar with Anthony Black's game, Anthony Black was like the number 8 pick, I believe, from the 2023 draft. He was one of these top picks for Orlando. When he came out of college, he's like a 6'6" guard. He's very big, strong, very capable body. He was a decent passer in college, an incredible defender, a guy who gets a lot of stocks. Not a shooter whatsoever, not really a scorer, but kind of just a do-it-all guy. And he was a really interesting prospect. I actually really quite liked him. And throughout his first couple of years, it was a little up and down. Again, the shooting, there's been no shooting. There wasn't really any scoring. The defense was good, but it was kind of like, I don't see how this guy fits on a Magic team that's already struggling with spacing. I don't understand how you get another non-shooting guard in here, but this season, things have been really different for him. And that's not even to say that the three-point shooting has really come along for him and changed everything. His just level of aggressiveness and willingness to get downhill, the capability to get downhill and score in the paint, he has just been relentless, especially as soon as Franz went out. And, the Magic have been missing some guys in and out of the lineup as of late. Like, Anthony Black has been a stabilizing force for them. He's averaging 15 points per game this season, up from 9 last year. He's getting 4 rebounds and 4 assists a game as well. He's got great rim finishing stats. He's a better rim finisher than Paolo, and he actually gets to the rim more often than Paolo does. And he's been really electric this year. He's finally just starting to put some things together. He looks like a commiserate pro, like a guy who's just kind of a vet and is ready to contribute to this team. And that kind of complicates things for the Magic. Anthony Black's emergence complicates things for the Magic from a financial perspective, right? Like we said, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero both have max contract extensions already. Desmond Bane is at a near max. He's making a lot of money. And Jalen Suggs, I know, makes a lot of money as well. I think close to $30 million a year. So they have 4 guys who are already very, very expensive on this roster. And Anthony Black has looked incredible in his 3rd season. And with it being his 3rd season, that means we're going to go into this offseason and he's going to be able to sign an extension. He's going to be up for one, and him and his team are going to be asking for a lot of money because they should, because he's been very, very good. Again, especially as the Magic have been losing guys, he's stepped up in a very big way to provide ball handling when Jalen Suggs is out of the lineup. Again, he gets downhill. He's a good rebounder. He's a good passer. He's a great defender. And he's been just awesome. But how do the Magic afford him when they already have these 4 guys on their roster making as much money as they are? Not only how do the Magic afford him, but how do they justify affording him? You would maybe shrug your shoulders and say, hey, just pay him if the Magic were the 1 or 2 seed in the East, right? And they were looking like bona fide championship contenders. But we're talking about a team that is currently in the play-in. We're talking about a team that is in the play-in and is faced with a situation where they're going to have to go way, way, way into the luxury tax in order to afford all of the guys that are currently on this roster. And it's just not a very good roster. And that's a big problem. And you see, the Magic with Anthony Black on the floor are like a +7 or a +8 this season. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly, but they are a bona fide positive when Anthony Black plays this year. And when Paolo, their number 1 guy, plays, they are a negative. They are a negative. It's almost neutral. It's almost a 0 net rating, but they're actually negative. So what do they do now? I think this is a real problem that I don't hear people talking about because the Orlando Magic are a small market team. They've not really had teams where they've needed to pay luxury tax in the past. They've not been very good for some time, and now they're just staring down the barrel of do we go way into the luxury tax to afford a team that looks like it can't even get home court advantage, let alone get a top 6 seed in this Eastern Conference of all conferences? If I'm the Magic, I don't know that I'm just ready to pay Anthony Black a ton of money and keep this team exactly as it is. And that's not to say I don't want to pay Anthony Black, but if I pay Anthony Black, somebody has to go. Somebody has to. And therein lies the entirety of the Paolo Banchero problem. His team is just better without him playing, and his team can't afford to keep this roster the way it is. And if I'm the Magic and I'm looking at paying Anthony Black and keeping all of this young talent around, I'm looking at Franz Wagner, who's been a vital contributor to this team, and when he doesn't play, the team tends to struggle, and when Paolo went out, Franz tends to carry this team. I don't think I'm trading that guy. Jalen Suggs doesn't play a ton of games all the time because he just has a very physical style of game play that tends to lead to him getting injured more easily. But the team is always very good when he's on the court because he's essentially their best spacing point guard and an incredible defender. You have Desmond Bane, who is a very good offensive player. He's an excellent spacer. He's averaging 20 a game. He's been quite good. And they just traded a lot to go get him. So I don't think they're moving on from him immediately. And then Anthony Black. I wouldn't want to just give this guy up. He looks like a dynastic, incredible point guard. And if you're going to count on Jalen Suggs missing some games every single year, then a talent like Anthony Black, you can't just let walk away from the team for nothing. You can't just let him go. But Paolo, again, who makes the most money, has just not proven to really be a winning basketball player yet. And the Magic are just forced into a situation now where we need to start winning games. We have to. So, honestly, if I'm the Magic, and I don't think they will do this because teams don't tend to be this wishy-washy, especially with like number one guys that they obviously just paid a lot of money. I would be looking to move Paolo Banchero if I could for some other big talent play or a couple of pieces that might be able to help you a little bit more than he is. I worry, again, at this point in his career, he's building up some tendencies that I don't like, and he's proven that he's not a guy that just makes it work on the court. And when I'm looking for stars and guys that I want to be the leaders of my team, I want guys who are flexible, who can make it happen with anybody around them, to an extent, of course. But you know what I mean? Like the best of the best guys make it work regardless of who's around them. Look at Giannis, look at Shea, look at Jokic right now. Like those guys are just good regardless of who's on the court with them. And so, yeah, this might be an overreaction. I'm not saying like they should go out and trade Paolo today or tomorrow, but it feels like we're quickly getting to a point with this Magic team where the answer is going to become, we need to move on from Paolo Banchero because that's the best way for us to get some more talent, and he's kind of the one cog in the machine that doesn't really seem to work all that well. But like I said, I could be wrong. When the Magic's guys are on the floor together, again, they win games generally, or at least they perform well in advanced ratings. So I could be wrong about all of this, and maybe they do just need to get healthy and spend some time together, and they will end up being much better than I'm projecting right now. But I have just a lot of concerns given what we've seen this year and what we've seen last year and what we've seen in the past. Sorry to hit the panic button so fast. Hopefully my points make sense here. Hopefully my argument makes sense here. Again, like I said, I don't think they should go out and trade Paolo tomorrow or at the trade deadline, but don't be surprised if a year from now these are the conversations we're forced to have, or maybe not this upcoming offseason, but the one after. These are the conversations we're having because I feel like we're just going to get to that point with this Magic team where they disappoint too much and there's kind of one glaring red flag amongst it all. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you made it here to the end of the video, go ahead and give this a like, share it with your friends, your family, whoever, and go ahead and subscribe to the page. I apologize for my dog interrupting there in the back, but again, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you join me in the next one, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Okay, bye.